Playoff pressure's mounting in Detroit like a second-half blitz, and every Lions fan knows how heartbreak stacks up in the NFC North. Barry Sanders fading away, Calvin's final catchless season, and that brutal 0-16 nightmare lurking like a ghost at Ford Field. After last year's playoff surge, is this the moment Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell pull the trigger on a move bold enough to finally scare the Packers, Bears, and Vikings, and maybe the whole league? Green Bay just swung for the fences with Micah Parsons, a bona fide game wrecker who's already redefined the division's pass rush threat. The question hitting every Lions faithful square in the gut: can Detroit stand by and watch the Packers rewrite the NFC North power balance? Or will the front office break the mold and add a monster on edge that could lift this defense from good to unstoppable? This isn't just about doubling down on last year's success. It's about survival and legacy in a division stacked with hungry rivals. The Bears and Vikings have their own pressure valves, but Parsons has punched the clock on the Packers' resurgence, and that puts Hutchinson under a spotlight he's ready for but can't carry alone. Does Detroit have the guts to chase the kind of pass rusher who can actually swing a game on his own? Now, this is Lions News Fan Report, the only voice bleeding Honolulu blue and silver grit from the tailgate to Ford Field roar. Hit subscribe, because what's coming next could reshape this team's future or leave us howling into another cold, lost winter in Motown. The name whispered now alongside Hutchinson's rise: Travon Walker, the Jaguars' 2022 first overall pick, a 6'5", 272-pound edge rusher who's the kind of athletic freak every defensive coordinator dreams of, versatile against the run, lining up all across the front and closing like a bat out of hell. Walker's first 2 seasons have shown a steep upward trajectory. After a rookie year with 3.5 sacks and flashes of raw potential, he exploded with back-to-back double-digit sack campaigns, 10 in year 2, 10.5 last season, racking 24 total sacks over 3 years. Jacksonville locked him up through 2026 with a 5th-year option, but whispers from Sports Illustrated say the Eagles are sniffing around, meaning Walker might be trade bait. Detroit has a glaring edge need, and the cap space to swallow Walker's $11.9 million hit in 2025, plus flexibility after that. The Packers' Parsons move just shattered the quiet expectation of NFC North parity. It's demand, not hope now. Walker fixed the Campbell-Ben Johnson blueprint like a glove. His length disrupts passing lanes, his speed closes in a blink, and he's solid setting the edge against the run, exactly the kind of relentless, high-motor piece Detroit needs opposite Aiden Hutchinson, whose 2023 leg surgery still leaves questions about volume and durability. Adding Walker would not only cushion Hutchinson, but create the kind of pass rush terror that could paralyze quarterbacks game after game. That's the kind of edge the Lions haven't had since the days of Chris Spielman and Robert Porcher. Depth. Chart physics mean pulling Walker in will push younger or less proven players into rotation, but the upgrade is undeniable. Detroit can realistically offer Jacksonville a 2026 first-rounder, a 4th, and a 2027 third-round pick that escalates, either if Walker hits 10 sacks or Detroit reaches the NFC title game. It's steep, but the trade market for top edge rushers is brutal. Montez Sweat fetched a 2nd-rounder last year, while Brian Burns cost a day 2 pick plus a mega extension. Walker's youth, production, and relative affordability tipped the scales. The ripple effects would echo across the NFC North like a battleground warning. Green Bay tries to quieten the mounting pressure with Parsons, but Detroit adding Walker shifts the dynamic into full throttle heck. Even day Bears and the Vikings feel the tremors. This move signals Detroit isn't just chasing the pack, it's hunting them down. With playoff pressure boiling over, remember that heartbreaking stretch from Saints to 0-16 to last year's playoff spark. This is the kind of big bet that fans hope Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell make to rewrite Detroit's defensive story. Letting this chance slip will be another Michigan winter spent on the outside looking in. So Lions fans, as the crunch of the 2025 cap nears, and the division's power reshapes around Parsons and company. Does bringing Travon Walker to Detroit feel the kind of defense that haunts opponents' nightmares? Or is it too big a gamble for a franchise still chasing that elusive breakout? Drop your take, would you trade this year's first-rounder to bring in a game-changing edge? Who could push the Lions past that next playoff barrier? Or is the risk too high? Ford Field's about to become a war zone if Holmes pulls this off. Or the crowd will remember this as the year the Lions let the NFC North slip away again, one hush-laced trade deadline at a time. One thing's for sure. If we're talking 2026 draft, capital for a premium pass rusher in a division where the margin for error gets thinner every Sunday, it's time to get loud because the Lions don't come here to play polite. This is Detroit, where we fight like those legends on the blue turf even if it means risking the picks. The draft days, the what-if moments that haunt every Lions fan's locker room jokes. So what say you? Can Walker and Hutchinson become the fiercest bookend duo in the NFC North? Or will Detroit just be another highlight reel of almost? Fire up those comments, because this race just got real. Lions front office faces a crossroads. Is a game-changing edge on the horizon? What if this isn't the end of the shockwave, but the opening shot of Detroit's boldest move yet? The NFC North is shifting underneath our feet, rivals are circling. League whispers swirl about trades that could shake the foundation, and Detroit's own front office is eyeing that one piece capable of flipping the playoff script. Imagine a scenario where Holmes pulls the trigger on a blockbuster for Travon Walker. With his rising sack totals, 10.5 last season, and his youth, he's the disruptor we desperately need to complement Hutchinson. But if the Lions do go all in, what ripple effects could shake the roster? Would they sacrifice draft capital now to fix the pass rush for good, risking future flexibility in the blink of an eye? Could this shove the defense into top-tier status or unravel team chemistry? The whispers say Jacksonville might not be ready to let the Georgia proprietary go without a fight, especially with their cap drama and the Eagles lurking as potential bidders. So if Detroit bets hard and wins, it signals a statement. We're done playing nice. Yet, if Holmes holds back, are we settling for progress that'll never be enough? The math is simple. A first-rounder plus multiple picks maybe. Even a future first could land us a player who makes Hutchinson look even better, turning Ford Field into an unavoidable fortress. But what about the locker room? Will this move ignite the fire needed to finally push past that elusive playoff barrier? Or will it fracture an already tight-knit unit? And don't forget, with Dan Campbell's emphasis on toughness and grit, adding a player of Walker's caliber would send a message. Detroit's not just chasing bounce back. We're building a juggernaut, especially with a division that's calling out for dominance. Still, the clock's ticking louder than ever. This deadline could be the line between a shot at greatness and another year lost in the shadows, another winter of what could have been. Because if Holmes and Campbell go all in now, we're staring down a season where our entire strategy hinges on this gamble, bet big, or accept another chapter in our quiet disappointment. And the thought that turns fans' stomachs? The front office might be risking the very foundation of the rebuild, pushing the chips all in, knowing the fallout if it backfires is as cold as a Motor City winter. When all's said and done, this decision could either etch Detroit's name into the NFC North legend books or serve as a stark reminder of what happens when we bet everything on a single roll of the dice. And let's be clear, the window for a major upgrade isn't just open, it's screaming open, demanding the boldest move of the Holmes era. So, Lions faithful, what's your call? Do we package those future picks for a player who could redefine the edge rush, or do we stand pat, praying Hutchinson's health and development are enough to carry us? Because come deadline day, the line between a Lions playoff push and another almost could come down to this one gamble, one move capable of transforming our defense from good to nightmare. And if Holmes pulls this off, everything changes. If not, We might just be watching history repeat itself, another missed opportunity knocking loudly on Ford Field's door. This move, if it lands, could ignite a fan base starved for relevance for decades, turning Ford Field into a fortress where opposing QBs fear every snap. It's a shot at rewriting history, for real this time. But if Holmes hesitates or gets outbid, the heartbreak could be even sharper, dredging up ghosts of past seasons where potential was just out of reach, leaving us bitter at the missed chance. Detroit's defense could elevate from middle of the pack to a nightmare scenario for quarterbacks, with Hutchinson and Walker forming a relentless duo capable of wrecking any game plan. The scheme would shift to an aggressive, attack-first approach, leaving offenses no room to breathe and forcing turnovers. But the risk? If Walker's acquisition disrupts locker room chemistry or the draft capital dries up future picks, the Lions may be left scrambling, rebuilding a defense on the fly once again. Green Bay's splash for Parsons and the Packers' resurgence has shifted the division's balance. Detroit's window to compete is closing fast, and this could be the move that cements us as contenders or leaves us scrambling behind. Chicago and Minnesota watch intensely. A Lions surge with Walker could deepen their urgency, making every NFC North game an all-out war of attrition. This era of almost might finally be ending, or so we hope. Honestly, if Holmes doesn't pull this trigger, I'll be kicking myself. All offseason, we've watched the window close over and over. This is our shot to finally build that dominant pass rush. And if we let it slip, Detroit's forever stuck in the almost club. I've seen enough rebuilds that stall. This franchise needs a statement move, and Walker could be it. Don't keep us hanging on the edge. Brad, just do it. One pride isn't just a slogan. It's a mindset. Detroit's grit, our blue collar. So this is where legends are made, not played safe. Let's get loud, fight for every inch, and show the NFL we're not backing down. Because when the deadline hits, the Lions will either roar like never before or fade once again into the cold Michigan night. The choice is ours. Are we ready to make history?